good morning once again, my fellow Okwane people. Yesterday I made a post. I tagged the call to return home after the forceful fall of the Edu Kingdom. And from the beginning of that episode, I began by pointing out areas of things, stories, things that were confusing our Okwane people, that is making them to claim that they are not Igbo, why they are Igbo. So from that first analysis, I pointed number one, which I'm going to emphasize on this video. Number one thing I pointed out clearly there was that that our people don't know, or were not taught, or were not informed that the existence of the Okwane people dated way back more than centuries, number of centuries, that is being written in any historical documented books. Okwane is far old. Okwane is far old. Okwane belongs to the number of the first humanity on this planet Earth. Okwane belongs to the class of the tribes or indigenous people, the class of the first indigenous people on this planet Earth. Are you understanding me? So that is what I'm going to emphasize more today. Being stated that Okwane is among the class of the first ancient humanity on this planet Earth is a fact to prove that we are the ancient Igbos. Are you getting what I'm saying? We are the ancient Igbos, and that makes us the Igbo we are talking about. Okwane belongs to the class of the first humanity on this planet Earth. Then I went further to state that Okwane never migrated from anywhere. Okwane is as indigenous, is as classic, is as first humanity that was domiciled from wherever they found themselves. In other words, this territory called Okwane, this language, this dialect called Okwane, this tradition called Okwane, this culture called Okwane had been in this territory called Okwane right from the beginning of time. Right from the beginning of time. That is what makes us Igbos. What makes us Igbos that we are talking about. That is what makes us Igbos we are talking about. There is something I am going to still make us know, because dragging territories, making unnecessary arguments, giving out, dishing out insult to people that are talking about their history, engaging them on media warfare, makes people to always digress on issue or distract people from the main discussion. So if not, when we talk about Igbo being the first humanity on earth, we are not saying that Igbo tribe is only the first humanity the first indigenous people on this planet Earth in Nigeria. It is just that Igbo retain that name, ancient. Yorubas can also be ancient when I'm not saying emphatically on that, but I know that Yorubas, wherever, even if they own the territory called Yoruba today, or they don't own it, I know that Yorubas may have also been one of the first indigenous people on this planet Earth. Are you get what I'm saying? Then talking about Hausas as well, they might also be one of the ancient indigenous people on this very planet Earth. Then other tribes as well that makes up Nigeria might also be one of them in this class of the first humanity on this planet Earth. So I am not saying Igbos alone are the first humanity, but why we say Igbos are the first ancient humans on this planet Earth is that we are the only ancient humanity that still retain this as our tribal name, that still retain the influence of this name as our tribal name, being Igbo. Igbo means ancient. Are you getting what I'm saying? Igbo means ancient. We are the ancient people. That is the meaning of that word, Igbo. And this Igbo we are talking about, we have different dialects in mentioning them. Like Okwane. Ndokwane says Ndi Igbo. Then across Niger, they said Ndi Igbo. Are you getting what I'm saying? So people have different dialect in pronouncing name. Are you understanding me? So when we say Okwane are Igbos, we are not saying that Okwane migrated from any community from the east. You get the understanding? When we say Okwane people are Igbos, we are not saying Okwane people migrated from any community from the east. No, we are saying Okwane is Igbo. When you follow us, you understand when we emphatically stated it that no part of Igbo is older than any, or is better or more valued than any. Igbos in their territory with their dialect were all domiciled, organically owned where they are. We just have to get it done on us. Okwane people are one of the ancient humanity on this planet Earth. Okwane did not migrate from anywhere. You see that territory, that geographical territory that contain every community in Okwane is owned by the deity Nze. You get what I'm saying? Is owned by what? The deity Nze. The most oldest of all deities in Okwane is Nze. We should be able to know. Then if we want to trace where our DNA goes, you discover Igbos anywhere you get Nze. There is no territory of Igbo that you will not find this oldest deity. It's just that Igbos are too serious with business. We the Igbos are too serious in business, in development, that we propagate our business. We more value what we achieve daily than emphasizing on our deities. Now, like the Yoruba people, Yorubas cannot tell. We hardly propagate their history without mentioning Oduduwa. But when you see the Igbos talking about their own, you see them, they hardly mention their own deity. Are you getting me? If not, I used to let us know that the deity Nze, which is the oldest of all deities in every Igbo land, is older than Oduduwa. Are you understanding? But in our own land, in Okwane and all Igbo territory, we don't emphasize on our deity. Okwane can only trace where they came from. They can only trace their blood lineage when they discover when they value, when they understand what all the deities in Okwane talks about. Are you getting what I'm saying? So when we say Igbo, we are saying ancient. When we say Igbo, we are saying the first humanity on this planet Earth, the first indigenous people on this planet Earth, the first Republican in nature on this planet Earth. Igbo, the ancient, which might also include the Yorubas, they also include the Hausas, they may also include some other ethnic or tribes in Nigeria. But that does not mean that they are Igbo. Igbo is expression, a word used to express the ancient people, is an ancient name for the ancient people according to the language. So we just retain it in our name as a tribe. We are Igbo, the ancient people. Are you going to say? So what, as the world advances, as the world is advancing, people begin to cut out and begin to name their tribes. Are you understanding me? They begin to name their tribes. They begin to name their tribe. If you are, when we say ancient, does not mean that the only Igbos are the ancient. The Yorubas can also be ancient. The Hausas can also be ancient. But what we are saying that we are the one that retain, we still retain unshaken. We have not changed our deity as our identity as the ancient people. Are you getting what I'm saying? The Hausa, I don't really know what Hausas, that Hausa word Hausa might mean, and I don't also know what that word Yoruba mean. But in this side, in the east, what Igbo mean is ancient, and that is what we are in nature, and that is what we retain as our tribal name. So any Okwane person, I'm begging you, whenever you are hearing Igbo, don't be afraid. Are you going to say? Don't be afraid. We are saying you are equally as old. You are equally as old in nature, in tradition and culture, as well as our brothers in the east. That is where you get it wrong. We are the ancient people. Okwane people are ancient. Okwane people had been there. They were never migrants. Migration stories were being created to divide us, to keep us under, to keep us as minority inside, instead of belonging to the majority of the Igbos we are. You get what I'm saying? So I am saying I'm going to be analyzing all those things one after the other. We are not saying that any part of Okwane, any community in Okwane break out from any community in the east. No. Every one of us are Igbos in nature. We are domiciled Igbonically wherever it is. That is my own English. A way I will be able to describe it so that you will understand me. We are Igboic in nature. We are Igboic in existence. We are very ancient. We dated back before time. This is what we are letting our people to know. I will tell you, I will come to tell us, because when we are saying Igbo, I'm beginning to understand that it is out of ignorance, out of bad information sold to them earlier before we start speaking out. Is what is disturbing our people. When there is this word slave that they concocted in Okwane. Are you understanding me? The word Igbo, Ndigbo, that get it done on our people, that our people begin to think that when you say Igbo, you mean slave. So they begin to use that word, and I'm going to analyze, I'm going to teach, I'm going to say where those things came from. Our people need to be mentally oriented. our people need to be mentally oriented on anything concerning the tradition of our people. We must do away with the mentality of migration, because when we are talking, we are still talking. Some of us are still boldly coming out, taking pride in the word migrant, without them as intellectuals, as people who are learned, as people who are educated, sitting down back to analyze what that word means. Migration is not a name for any community. It is those that want to conquer you, those that want to take away your identity, that name you migrant. They tell your historians to write your history as you migrated. You came from different places. You came from different places to dominate where you were not. And some of us, when they begin to tell, they want to begin to look, to begin to tell story and begin to pinpoint where they went and fight war and conquer. Nobody, Okwane never fight anybody to take over the land, and nobody has fought Okwane to take over the land. The people that you are calling the migrant, no, were given birth in the land of Okwane, and at a time travel out to different places, face persecution, the same persecution of reduction, the same persecution of racism that is being meted against the Igbo was what they faced where they were. And there was a time, there was a call for people to return home, and our people start returning back home. And they return back home because the land was emptied in search of greener pasture. The land of Okwane was one time emptied, almost emptied, because of people going out different places, forming community there, living their life there for very long generation, give birth to their generation there, and many of their generation grew without knowing where they came from. But when the persecution started, when the Igbophobic that we are hearing today, we think that it is just today, that had begun from the ancient time. When it began, our people began to hear the call of their Igbo brothers to start returning home, and they returned. It became that people that returned were more in number, tracing their organic roots back to where they dwell. Before they came back to this territory, many of them, their intonation has changed. Their languages, the way they speak the Igbo, the way they speak the Okwane have changed, depending on the areas they came from. Some, they said they came from Urobo, some that came from Egala, some that came from this. This is how they came back. And when they came back with different ideas and different knowledges, but they still stick to their culture and their tradition, because the culture and tradition, the deities of Okwane never left Okwane.